So hello and welcome. We at the Salewinds would like to begin this webinar by acknowledging that we are on the traditional treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island, First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully share in the responsibility of the stewardship and environmental protection of these ancestral lands. My name is Christine Castle, and I am a member of the Salewinds Green Team. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are delighted to have registrants from all three condo towers in Port Whitby, the Salewinds, the Yacht Club, and the Row, along with others from our broader community and our neighborhood, and even some municipal councillors. Following on the heels of COP26 in Glasgow, it is clear that the management of waste and its subsequent impact on the environmental sustainability of our region, our province, our country, and ultimately our planet is indeed an important issue for many of us. A little background, in 2018, the board of the Salewinds Condominium, who is the sponsor of this webinar, adopted something called a Statement of Guiding Principles on Environmental Sustainability, acknowledging that the range of decisions and choices with which a condo board is faced must take into account not only their fiduciary responsibilities that we all care a great deal about, but also the effect of these actions on the environment. This led to the establishment of the Salewinds Green Team, which seeks to assist the board in conserving resources, preventing generation of pollution, and promoting reuse, recycling, and the reduction of waste through individual and collective efforts, as well as collaborating with the broader community in environmental initiatives like this. You will meet some members of the Green Team tonight. Others are here with us in the audience. We are all very, very proud to have received this year's Irene Koch Environmental Awareness Award from the Durham Region Environmental Advisory Committee in recognition of our efforts. And it's here with me tonight. So we're very proud to have received this award. So thank you, Durham Environmental Advisory Committee. If you are interested in the Green Team, please get in touch, either joining us or perhaps in establishing one at your own condo. We're always happy to help others to move forward. Now on to the webinar. A few technical points that Allison and Andy have asked me to point out before we proceed. During the talk, participants will be muted, so that's all of us except for the speakers, and it is suggested that you turn off your camera too, just because it can be a bit distracting. Feel free to pose questions in the chat box that you'll see at the bottom as your questions arise, or hold them until the Q&A session, which will follow the speakers. The talk is expected to take about 20 minutes, followed by 15 minutes of questions. We hope to conclude by 8 o'clock. I hope that gives you most of the information you need for the rest of the evening. And now I move into our topic, which is where does your waste go, as we've got here on our slide. Where does your waste go, Durham Region? Multi-residential challenges and changes on the horizon. And for that, I would like now to invite Mike Hyland, who is a member of the Salewinds board and also a longtime supporter of the Green Team, to introduce our speakers. Mike?
Thanks very much, Christine. Our first guest speaker this evening is Carol Slaughter. Carol is a waste technician in the Works Department and has been with the region of Durham since 2009. Currently, she oversees waste contracts and programs for multi-residential buildings and reviews and approves new developments for municipal waste services across the region. Carol sits on the executive committee of the Ontario Waste Management Association, and she chairs the multi-residential committee. She received her master's in environment and management in 2018 with her thesis, Ontario's Growth Plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe and its impact on waste diversion rates, a case study of the regional municipality of Durham. Our second guest is Joseph Anello. Joseph is the Director of Waste Management Services in the Works Department of the region of Durham. He has been with the region since 2008, following his retirement and successful career in the Canadian Armed Forces. Joe's career and knowledge in the waste and environmental field led him initially to the position of Manager of Waste Planning and Technical Services at the region. Projects during his time at Durham include Durham York Energy Center, the Brock landfill mining and site remediation, monitoring and attenuation of the region's landfills, and currently the mixed waste pre-sort and anaerobic digestion facility. He's a professional engineer, a project manager, and leader for the region's waste management team. So welcome, Carol and Joe.
Carol, do you need assistance with unmuting?
It's okay. I'll go from this mic. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to stay muted on that other mic. Okay, so a little technical glitch for those of you who are challenged with computers. Sometimes mine is multiple. I'm Carol Slaughter. I am with the region of Durham, and I look forward to the presentation today, and I hope you'll ask some questions. I've been to the building a number of times. I work with your property management team, and I work across the region to help promote and encourage waste diversion. The region's waste management department, we service 2,532 square kilometers. And as you can see, it's a very large region. As I said, I cover the entire region. We have 215,000 households and we have 673,500 population, and we are growing. We have 413 multi-residential buildings that we currently service, and that's 25,000, almost 26. I'm bringing on a new building later this month. We also cover the municipal downtown business improvement areas and collect the recycling in those locations. So in terms of Durham region, how is waste handled? Many of you in the Durham region have moved from a household, so curbside service, or you are now on a front-end service. So I'm going to differentiate where and how your waste is managed. We manage in your current building in a more centralized communal situation, where all of you send your material down, it's compacted, and then picked up in a front-end bin. We also have recycling through our dual stream recycling bins. And as you'll see, they're 95-gallon rolling totes. Those are rolled out and collected at the building either weekly or twice weekly. And we're able to service, as I said, 413 buildings currently in Durham region. We have no organics collection. We do not provide yard waste to multi-residential buildings. And it's a call-in service for the bulky goods by your property managers, or it's paid by the building. For the curbside service, each home is responsible for their waste at curb. They have to have clear delineation of a set out. So in a townhouse location where it's very compact, we ask and we are required to have a set out point for each home. So everyone owns their waste. There's a 4-bag limit. They have complimentary blue box and green bin. We provide recycling organics material is collected, as well as seasonally, we have our Christmas tree collection, twice yearly battery collection, and our bulky goods collection. So who provides the waste services to your building? Well, as you can see in Ajax, Pickering, Uxbridge Townships, and Clarington, the region of Durham provides all the services. But in Whitby and Oshawa, it's the town of Whitby who's providing your services. So you can see the difference. So when I'm talking to a building, it always depends on where I am geographically. So do all multi-residential properties in Durham region receive municipal collection? The answer is no. All sites are, even on public and private roads, they have to meet a technical and risk guidelines for waste service under our Schedule P of the Regional Waste Bylaw 46-2011. So essentially my role at the region, as well as overseeing our contractual agreements for our waste collection, I review all site plans that come across and into the region for approval. So prior to construction, they'll ask whether or not we can provide service. As I said, we do not approve all, and actually one of the buildings that is joining us this evening is not receiving service from the region, and they're paying for private service. So if they're collected, I'm only going to speak to if you're collected under municipal service, but we can, if you have questions after, you can ask me. So if collected under municipal service, where's your waste managed from? So locally, we're able to recycle all blue box material at our MRF, our municipal recycling facility, located in Whitby. Our compost or green bin material is managed and composted at our facilities in Pickering, at Squires Beach, and over in Clarington for our windrows. Residual waste, which is your garbage bags, goes to our energy from waste facility at the Durham York Energy Center in Clarington. You'll see that facility located just along the 401 with the stack. So where do your blue box recyclables go? Well, as I said, they're going to the MRF. And what we have is a program called a dual stream recycling program. That enables us to keep our material clean. We have approximately, and across the region, at about an 8% contamination rate. That means the material that we get at our recycling facility is clean. It's because our residents divide their material up between paper and cardboard or containers. So that spaghetti sauce or the mayonnaise isn't mixing up in the paper and it's not contaminating. We consider that contamination. So the flow of recyclables. So how does it get from A to B? As you can see at the top of the screen on the left, you'll see the driver will hook those rolling totes onto the side of the truck. He'll lift them over the top of the truck to tip them. The truck is actually divided into two sides, as you'll see on the screen. On the top, you see he's tipping the containers only. Then he'll put that one side down and he'll tip on the other side of the floor the papers and cardboard. It goes up through a conveyor belt system. As you can see, this gentleman is standing and looking down. And as you can imagine, he has to pull off the contaminated material, which would include plastic bags. And as that material goes by, it is moving very quickly. Once the material is sorted, it then is baled. And you can see the size of the bales. They are quite large, they are quite heavy, and they are by a specific type of material. We have eddy current, we have magnets, we have air that will blow the plastic bottles out of the way, and we also have weight, which is glass, which drops. In all those parts and all those pieces, we're then baling that material and selling it. So that revenue that we generate then pays for other things within the region. At your multi-residential buildings, we try to make collection easy for our residents. The bag that you see is a bag that we provide to your property managers. It has a side pocket where you're able to put your papers in. It has a section in the main section of it for the containers. We do it and we encourage the clean and the subdividing by using these bags. You can also use a small blue box in your own apartments or condos and just bring the material down. But we encourage you to look for the sticker that says containers only, or that has the blue, which is the paper or cardboard. We supply the metal signs that you'll see down in the where you're doing your sorting. You'll see it slightly there just above this particular recycling bin. And then We also supply the magnets that you'll get or any brochures. Our staff are on hand, which is myself and our bylaw staff, to educate when needed. We work closely with your property managers, and the maintenance staff will visit and will ensure that the residents are receiving this service. And if there's issues, when I open those lids, I look and see whether or not you're sorting the material. And if there's problems, we can actually stop service. Now, I will tell you the bins that are brown there on the right-hand side are for your electronics. And you'll see those in your buildings as well. One of the things about recycling, which I want to point out, is effective July 1st, 2023, packaging used by producers to make their products. So in other words, anyone who's making or you're buying your, anything that's in a glass container, anything that's in a plastic container, anything that you eat out of, those containers themselves, the packaging itself is now going to be the responsibility of the producer who's selling you the product. So in other words, we're going to stop collecting and it's going to be turned over to producer responsibility. That means it's going to be a consistent material going to be accepted in the blue boxes across Ontario. It's going to be on the role and the responsibility of the pros or the producer responsibility organizations that are currently being created to coordinate collection and processing. The other thing that is the municipalities like Durham Region and the lower tier municipalities across Ontario who've provided collection will transition out of this service. And on July 1st, 2024, the region of Durham will step out of that role and a producer will be responsible. The blue box producers will become fully accountable and financially responsible for collecting and recycling their blue box material. And speaking from someone who's been doing this for a number of years, I'm happy to see this happen. So what is extended producer responsibility? Producers use and recycle the material to manufacture their products and market them. They sell it in the retail locations across Durham region. You as a consumer would buy the products, and then what will happen is you will be putting them out and the producers will be hiring companies to collect, process, recycle, and dispose of that material. We're currently under extended producer responsibility. We have currently approved those kinds of programs for single-use batteries, the electronic and electrical and electronics, we call it WE, is being handled by producer responsible organizations. We have household hazardous waste that is actually just being transitioned. And as I said, blue box material will soon transition in a couple of years. So let's talk about the other material that you're currently managing and you sometimes don't know what to do with it. So where does that material go? Well, for example, your construction and renovation that you do within your own condo, you are responsible under your contracts that you make with a subtrade to take that waste away. So they could bring that material, renovation material, by themselves to our waste management facility. You should never send it down the chute. You should never expect your building to take care of it. You are responsible for it. Household hazardous waste. That would include the batteries. That would include the CFL bulbs, any automotive materials, or anything that you would note where a hazardous symbol appears on the bottle. You are no longer needing it. You can bring it to our household hazardous waste facility, which is located at the closest one to you is at Ritson Road. So it's our waste management facility. Finally, automotive tires are also, you can easily bring that material. So again, you are bringing that material, you're sorting it out, you're taking out your e-waste, you're putting it in the bin at your building, take out those batteries, sort them out, recycle, and then what's left over, if you can't, don't put it down the chute, and certainly don't fill your bin at your building because it would be overflowing and it would be contaminated. So I'm going to talk about some special waste programs in the multi-residential building. They were created for a unique and effective way to divert waste. I will explain that a lot of these programs were actually generated by the staff within various municipalities and in partnership with companies who are able to take the material, if it's sorted and separated out, we're successfully able to create these, I think, very effective programs. So here you go, the battery program. You have done exceptionally well as a building. I will tell you that your batteries are being collected from those bins that you see and being recycled. Durham Region's battery collection program actually started back in 2012 by a colleague of mine who came up with the idea of collecting them on a regular scheduled curbside date. What we also saw was that when the fire department would say, remember to change your batteries out of your smoke detectors, and they did it twice a year, we corresponded with that messaging and then developed the program. In 2013, we won the Guinness Book of World Record for this program of collection at curbside. But what hadn't happened was in the multi-residential buildings, we didn't have a program. So I have a colleague who had started this, introduced this program, and slowly we've built the program to now be in 127 buildings in Durham Region. We work with RMC. They're located in Niagara, and they take all the batteries for recycling, including the curbside batteries. So our program is quite successful and is effectively diverting a very large amount of batteries yearly. As I said, they're now being recognized in the province under the Resource Recovery and Circular Economy Act, and producers are required, like Energizer, to take the batteries back. The waste electrical and electronics equipment, also known as WE, the WE program was been in the building since about 2016. We have 54 buildings currently operating the WE program. As I showed you in an earlier slide, you saw the 95-gallon tote. They're marked. They're a different color from our recycling, so you can visually see them. We also have posters to encourage people to what can be recycled. Anything originally was by a cord, but as you'll see from the poster in the middle, it gives you a sense of what is being recycled. In 2016, e-waste was also designated in Ontario under, oh, sorry, that's incorrect. It should say 2020. Sorry, on June 1st, 2021, it was designated as a recoverable material under the producer responsibility. My apologies. So e-waste on site is collected by a contractor who will come to site. They come twice per month, and it's seamless. It goes directly for recycling. Finally, our textiles program. This program was started in 2019. It was actually came up with an idea that we had based on the boxes that you see on the street, but we wanted to remove them off the street. So the collection bins are located only in buildings. They collect all clothing, fabrics, and old rags and textiles. Diabetes Canada is our partner in this. Those bins are specifically designed. They're like about the size of an armoire. You have it in your buildings as well. We started the program because we could. What we found was we had actually seen a similar program down in California. There were bins that were brought up for the Parapan and the Pan Am Games. Unfortunately, they were brought up by Goodwill, and Goodwill folded, so we weren't able to use their bins, and Canada Diabetes stepped in and offered us the bins. As of today, we've about 96 tons of material from the 27 participating buildings that are collecting textiles in Durham Region. So we're doing very successfully in this program as well. So what is Durham's Waste Division doing for sustainability? As you said, your building has been very proactive, but so is the region. We recognize waste as a resource. The residents produce resources which Durham collects under our various programs, including our green bin, our food waste, organics, our yard waste, and our Christmas trees program, and our organics program. Our blue box products and packaging, the metals, the porcelains, electronics, batteries, textiles are all going in for recycling. And finally, the energy from waste facility is producing energy, and it's successfully heating or lighting homes in Clarington. As I said, what's left over, that's what's being burned at the Durham York Energy Center. This facility was opened successfully after a great deal of work by my colleague who's on the call today, We're very proud of the facility itself and how effective it is at managing our waste. But as I said, we have a long way to go. Organic waste in multi-residential buildings has always been a challenge. I've been working in the multi-residential side for a number of years, and I can tell you that this has been a question I've faced many, many times. And my answer has been why we can't do it is our green bin program is based on an aerobic process, which basically is like the backyard. You take the material, and what we do is we mix it up just like you would in your backyard composter, and we add oxygen, and that breaks down the green bin material, and that will make a grade A, AAA actually, compost. But the problem is, if we took it from the green bins, if we put a green bin program in a multi-residential, we have no way of controlling or monitoring what's in those bins. At our curbside, our drivers are actually able to quickly look in and see if there's any contamination. They can actually tag the bin. They do. But in a green bin in a multi-residential site, it's very difficult to do. We have contamination, limited monitoring. We have potential for vermin and odor in small areas because a lot of older buildings, especially in areas not just like your building, but I'm talking the entire region, and I'm talking buildings that have been built in the 1930s and 40s throughout. They are not able to manage this. And also the volume of the material. When we look at this program in 2019, the regional council was very proactive, and they approved the proposal which staff came forward with for the mixed waste pre-sort processing facility that includes an anaerobic digester. We're in this process, and I'll turn it over to Joe in a few minutes and he'll be able to speak to it. But let's look at the AD facility for a second. See if it'll work.
Durham region is growing. By the year 2041, our population is expected to grow to approximately 1 million people. More residents will mean more waste that the region must manage. Durham region has taken the next steps towards handling this by developing a mixed waste pre-sort and anaerobic digestion facility, which will be the first of its kind integrated waste management system in North America. This new facility will only accept waste from within Durham region and will help delay the need to expand the Durham York Energy Center by diverting some of the additional waste created by our growing population. Here's how it works. Garbage collected at the curb and from multi-residential buildings will be delivered to a transfer station where the waste is loaded onto 50-foot trailers that will take the waste to the mixed waste pre-sort facility. Materials such as food and recyclables that don't belong in the garbage will be removed from the garbage bags. Marketable recyclables such as metals and plastics will be sorted and sent to market to be sold and remanufactured into new products. The mixed waste pre-sort facility will complement the current green bin program by capturing additional organics from the garbage. Organic waste, like food scraps, will be separated from the garbage bags and processed, along with organics collected in the green bin program using anaerobic digestion. What is anaerobic digestion? Anaerobic digestion is a natural process that uses microbes found in the environment to break down organic material and convert it into renewable natural gas known as biogas, used to fuel many items, and a nutrient-rich byproduct, or digestate, which can be used in agriculture. Anaerobic digestion is a safe, proven green technology. Environmental sustainability is a key goal in the Durham Region Strategic Plan. We are focused on innovative, made-in-Durham solutions to waste management that turn waste into a resource and address climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions in our region. To learn more, visit durham.ca/AD project.
Turn over to you, Joe.
Thank you, Carol. So from Carol's presentation, you can see we have a very robust program in Durham. Our diversion rate is about 63% of the waste that's produced is diverted. Considering that Durham produces over 200,000 tons a year That's a significant amount of waste that's diverted. So we are looking to the future. Where we are right now with the organics program is that we are currently in the what we will call the procurement stage. We have gone through and did a request for qualification. We qualified 3 companies, and these 3 companies now are putting their bids together. So those bids will be evaluated, and we are hoping to get to our council in June of next year with a recommended proponent to move forward with this project. Now, this project is a design, build, operate, and maintain contract. Same type of contract that was used for the Durham York Energy Center, whereby we own the facility, but somebody else will operate and maintain it and also design and build it for us. What we see happening now is once we get approval in June of next year, we will then be getting a 2-year period where we enter into the permitting stage, where we draft our permit, goes to the Ministry of the Environment to get a permit allowing us to operate and to start the construction. And that would then go into about a 2-year construction period, construction and commissioning. So all in all, about 4 years down the road for us. So we're anticipating 2025, 2026. Thank you, Carol. Next slide. One of the other things that we're doing to keep ahead of things, as Carol mentioned, we are basically treating our waste as a resource. A good example of that is our garbage that goes to the energy from waste facility right now. It costs us about $120 a ton to process that garbage at the energy from waste facility. However, we generate electricity. So the energy from waste facility incinerates the garbage in a water-walled boiler, which creates steam. That steam then drives a turbine generator, which creates electricity that runs the facility and also has enough energy to put into the grid. Just to give you an example of how much that is actually worth to us, we pay about $120 a ton to process that waste. For every ton of waste, we get about $60 a ton back in electrical energy revenues. That equates to about $8 million a year in electrical revenues that we are receiving by treating that waste as a resource. So in our long-term waste management plan, that is one of our focuses, is to look at our waste as a resource rather than as something to get rid of. So the anaerobic digester with the pre-sort is a big part of that. When you look at our plan was out for consultation. It just actually ended the end of October, but if there are any other comments, the website is still open. The 5 objectives that we are looking for in our long-term waste management plan is basically to engage residents. So we have the 5 R's, and one of those R's is recovery. We want to reduce the quantity of waste we create. So that's one of our objectives, is to look at trying to reduce the waste generated per population. We would like to increase our diversion of waste from disposal to support the circular economy. We'd also have a big part to play in the region's greenhouse gas reduction. So the region did declare a climate emergency, and the pre-sort and AED will be a big part of our efforts to reduce our greenhouse gas reductions. As Carol had indicated, that organic waste will now create renewable natural gas, which will go into the grid, and that will be the Enbridge grid. And we have already started negotiations with Enbridge, and it will be treated as just as any other gas or natural gas created from the methane that we get from this organic waste. And then finally, our objective is to protect or improve water, land, and air quality. We still have some landfills that require us to take care of them. One of our big projects for next year, as you know, the organics in the landfill create methane, and that was identified as one of the big climate issues. One of the ways that we're looking at reducing the amount of methane that goes into the air from our landfills is to install a biocover. A biocover is basically a layer of organic soil that will support the growth of bacteria that eats methane. And we are going to look at trialing that at our Oshawa landfill next year. Next slide, please. So our plan will take us into the future. We are looking at all types of things that are complementary with regards to our energy, our sustainability, supporting agriculture. The digestate that comes off the AD would be a substitute for fertilizer. We are looking at even the energy that comes off the the Durham York Energy Center and the AD, trying to enhance that. One of the things that we're looking at is right now, the wastewater pollution control building facility in Clarington basically cleans the sewage. Methane is created there and it is used, but also it is flared. We are looking to take that methane and also converting it to renewable natural gas. So you can see that our energy and waste are complementary and that we are moving forward with a sustainable solution for our waste. Next slide, please. So if you have any questions, we have a very good website. The address is there. You do have the ability to ask a specific question. It will go to the appropriate technician for response. So if there's anything that we do not answer tonight, it comes to mind later, please visit the site, ask your question, and you will receive an answer. If there is any other questions, I guess the next slide allows you to ask questions of Carol and myself.